Hey, I'd like to welcome you to another episode of Mission Matters Business Podcast, where I interview new guests each and every day. My name is Adam Torres. You can follow me on Instagram at AskAdamTorres to keep up with my book releases, book tours, schedule, all that other good stuff. Always love to connect with you there. And as always, if you'd like to apply to become a co-author of one of my upcoming books, just head on over to the website, moneymatterstoptips.com, and click on Become an Author to apply. All right, so today I have Adam Weiner on the line. He's Managing Director over at Rhino. Adam, welcome to the show.
Hey, Adam. Thanks for having me, man. How's it going?
All is well. Just came back from the dentist. No cavities. I'm happy about that. So I'm extra excited for this today, Adam. So that being said, I want to get into the growth in your industry, some new legislation passed, a couple things like that. But before we do that, let's just start off with what you're doing over at Rhino. So first, tell us a little bit more about the company, please.
Yeah, awesome, Adam. So Rhino is a replacement for cash security deposit. So we help renters move into spaces, and we help landlords and property managers collateralize their risk without using any cash. So it creates a real nice synergy between Rhino residents, and their property owners or managers.
So I don't want to assume that anybody here has used a cash alternative or anything like that for this. So let's go a little bit deeper. So what are the right type of clients for Rhino?
Yeah, so we work with everyone from workforce housing, owner-operators, up to, luxury high rises in New York and San Francisco. So the product really isn't a one-size-fits-all. I think what's special about it is that anyone at any end of the socioeconomic spectrum can get value out of us. And depending on the type of asset, the owner or the operator can get value out of us. So in its simplest terms, let's say you have a renter that gets approved for the apartment, and the property owner says, hey, that's going to be a $1,500 cash deposit. That's a big chunk of change that renter needs to come up with in addition to first month's rent, any other moving fees. So we replace that $1,500 with a small monthly payment, and then in turn we protect the asset should anything happen. So it really lubricates the leasing process, provides the owner with a great marketing angle, and then at the back end, when the lease expires, they don't need to deal with the administrative headaches that they normally do when dealing with, cash security deposits.
Man, that's genius. And you mentioned, what's the size? You mentioned obviously the sky rises, but do you work with smaller operators throughout the country, or just to get a feel for, so if somebody's listening to this and they're like, because now, when you explain it, it makes perfect sense. This is a way to help owners rent their units faster is what it comes down to. So you're less friction. So are there, is it just large buildings, or do you work with also smaller ones? Give us a feel for that landscape and geography.
Yeah, so, we have, individual brownstone owners in Brooklyn. We have, full garden style communities in and around El Paso, Texas, and everything in between. So, our largest clients are NMHC top 50 owner operators. And, then we have, mom and pop operations that own single family homes. So it really runs the gambit. We're kind of equipped and welcome any and all new business. We're, agnostic in that sense.
So as we are warming up the show notes, and I said anything interesting going on in your industry that you care to comment on, and I had to cut you off because I thought it was interesting. So let's talk about this growth that you're having, and also legislation, and kind of what's happening in your space.
Yeah, totally. So I think that Rhino is really at the forefront of a conversation that's been happening in the States for a while now in terms of affordability in housing. And, we afford owners and managers the ability to say that they are providing a financial amenity to their renters in the form of, an insurance alternative. So recently, the city of Cincinnati passed legislation that basically says landlords need to provide an insurance option to renters, and Rhino is one of, about a handful of options that are currently on the market. And I think a lot of the growth that we've seen over the last 18 months has been, spearheaded by the work that elected officials are doing in places like Cincinnati and elsewhere. So it's definitely a really exciting time to be at Rhino. It's a really cool time to just be in property technology in general.
Yeah, this whole prop tech movement and what's happening, I just think it's super interesting. And this is there's so many different angles. Anything else interesting you're seeing kind of from your vantage point working on this on the insured side?
Yeah, I think one of the things that we find, really interesting is actually the ability to do this in, larger spaces for kind of larger deposits. So we also offer a commercial product as well. Same exact idea in principle, just much larger deposit amounts, and really can, lubricate what's a really slow and burdensome leasing process. So instead of, small business owner coming up with $50,000, $60,000, $100,000 in a security deposit, we can issue them a policy. They have more working capital to grow. Landlord is protected in the exact same way. So being able to kind of straddle both residential and commercial entities, I think is really cool just from kind of a product standpoint and growth standpoint, but it really creates a good environment where we have a kind of a 10,000 square foot view of what's going on, in the prop tech space in general, whether that's marketing automation software in, residential leasing or, co-working spaces on the commercial end and things like that.
So how and are you currently operating in the commercial space? Because a lot of business owners, entrepreneurs, executives listening, and that caught their attention. They're like, wait a minute, I'm looking for a new space, or wait a minute, I've been wanting to launch this business and my team's growing and I want to get, I think it seems like that perfect bridge between the co-work space where you're paying a decent amount of money per square foot, and that and having your own space. It's kind of like, it seems like that really interesting bridge that would help that transition. So I know there's some people listening right now that they perked up a bit. So tell us a little bit more about the commercial end and how that works.
Yeah, so admittedly, I am not the commercial expert, just to kind of manage your expectations and everybody listening. However, I know that the commercial product, it's up and running. We've done, a couple dozen deals at this point, and
awesome.
I think from kind of a product stickiness standpoint, it's definitely, really impactful, just because it really, really provides small and medium-sized business owners kind of working capital they desperately need. And from a leasing perspective for, tenant reps and also for property owners, waiting for that letter of credit can become a real time suck that we eliminate entirely.
That's awesome. Well, hey, Adam, if somebody's listening to this and they want more information on Rhino, what's the best way for them to follow up?
Yeah, best way is to go to our website. That's www.sayrhino.com, SAYRHINO.com. You can also shoot me an email at adam@sayrhino.com.
Fantastic. Well, hey, Adam, it's been awesome having you on the show today and learning more about Rhino, what you're up to there, and how you're helping both our business owners and our owner-operators or our operators of real estate out there rent their units faster. So awesome stuff there. And to the audience, as always, thank you for tuning in. Hope you got a lot of value out of this. If you did, don't forget to subscribe to the podcast. If you're watching this on our YouTube channel, then definitely give that a like and leave us some comments in the comment section. Love to hear your thoughts on that. And Adam, thanks again for coming on the show.
All right. Thanks so much, Adam.